Oh, it's Periscope. Oh my god.
Yes.
It's all about providing high net worth investors with a robust platform that they can use to find the investment opportunities that best suit them. And so obviously we need a lot of people in this room. If you've got ideas, if you're an entrepreneur, if you've got something that would benefit from some funding, then yeah, we basically need you to come online. No cost to you guys at the moment. Sign up, get that database robust, and at the same time, we're obviously always trying to expand our investment pool, so we're always looking for new people to sign up who are looking to fund up-and-coming projects. So yeah, that's a URL, fosterfunding.com, with no E in it. Also, don't go to foster.com. That's a son of a bitch who won't sell his URL to me. Especially since his URL is just a flash video that tells people to download his app. Yeah, so come have a chat to me.
So it's basically a platform for investors, but startups can go in and find a matchmaking service.
It's like a matchmaking service.
Like RSVP or eHarmony for startups, is it?
Yeah, it's first and foremost, it's a platform.
Tinder for startups.
Oh boy, there's a worse one than that. I'm not going to say. But no, it's first and foremost it's aimed at the investors. It provides investors with a robust tool to search down all the criteria they might be interested in. Like, I'm only interested in Victorian startups wanting up to 300 grand and offering 10% of their company or whatever. Get online, they can see a bunch of profiles and click through and make contact.
Yeah.
We facilitate that meeting, but for the whole thing to work, obviously we need a pool of entrepreneurs and startups.
What about, this is for the viewers, we have got 2 viewers on Periscope at the moment, so we might get more on replay. What about people overseas? Can they come in?
We weren't sure about that when we launched, but we've pretty much decided now, yeah, we're gonna promote it pretty heavily overseas. I'll actually be off to Singapore in a couple of weeks to meet with a few financial services firms to get try to widen the investment pool that way. But yeah, the response has been really good, particularly in Melbourne out of all the capitals, I've got to say. So,
it's
and
good
you guys
to hear.
have just extended Melbourne to me. So we're Brisbane based.
I think Todd has a question.
I have a question, yeah. So how are you different to AngelList?
Because AngelList is syndication. So basically the way crowdfunding, the way that angel investing seems to work in Australia, it's pretty different from the way it started out in the States, where it was typically one angel who was a very high net worth individual who would take a big percentage of a company and pretty much give them whatever they're asking for. In Australia, for reasons that I'm not quite sure of, that doesn't seem to be the way it's developed. So AngelList and Assault and stuff like that, it fills an important niche, but it's a different kind of investor. It's more people who are willing to put 20, 25 grand with 15 other people, diversify and share the risk around. We're very much about fostering a one-to-one relationship between kind of an investor who can fund a project entirely by themselves, but might want a bigger part of the pie, but that's not to do with us, that's a negotiation. So, yeah. There's a question there also.
So is there anything for the accelerator managers in this platform as well?
Define accelerator manager.
People who manage accelerators, or for example, people who organize startup pitching competitions.
So as in
incubators.
For example, we organize startup pitching competition and we ask people to put up their pitches and add on.
Yeah, of course. I mean, we're at this point we're waiving all fees from the end of the startups or the small businesses. So yeah, we're very much interested in talking to any accelerators, anyone like that who might want to act as a feeder to just get their people up there and listed looking for funding. Yeah.
Right.
Hello.
Yeah, so how does your business model work exactly? So can I negotiate the terms with okay, so it's completely open, you just take a cut at the top of whatever we negotiate, or how does it
we're not financial advisors. We don't offer recommendations. So yeah, we're just a platform that you as an investor would use to find the opportunities that you're interested in. We take a commission on any funds that you actually wind up investing. So there's no cost for an investor to sign up. Obviously, we vet all the investors first, make sure that they can put up what they're saying they can put up, because otherwise it limits the value to the funding seekers. But yeah, there's no cost from either end at the moment. The only cost comes in, we take a 3% commission on any funds that are actually wind up being invested. And whether that comes out of the profit of the investor or out of the profit of the funding seeker or a combination of the both, that's a negotiation that is outside our scope. Yeah. Okay.
So how does the startup pitch? Is there
now I wish we had PowerPoint. Yeah, so essentially it's Athula had a good analogy, and it's like dating site. So it's basically, I wish I was correct. So basically, yeah, you just make a profile. It probably takes 45 minutes to an hour to fill out usually. There's a whole bunch of words about, who you are, what you're going to do with the money you're asking for, all that.
Walks on the beach and
All that, yeah. It's very important to have a good picture in there. But yeah, so it'll have all the relevant financials as well, like, and attached documents. Do you have P&Ls? How much are you asking? What are you offering for them? What rate of return are you offering? Are you offering any equity? All that kind of stuff. So it's basically, it's a big template. It's very, I wouldn't say it's easy to fill out, but it's straightforward to fill out. And we have staff on hand, who's not me, who guide you through that process anyway. So, typically the profiles all get vetted. So we have a guy who basically, his full-time job is just to say, you might want to say this, you might want to say that differently. Yes, that essentially covers the pitch. I mean, you're going to have to do a pitch to an investor if an investor's interested in you anyway. But I mean, once again, that's outside of our scope.
And that's a subscription model as well? Is that
There's no, well, at the moment, there's no cost at all. What it is, it will be an annual subscription. But for people who are signing up kind of during this initial promotional drive, there's no cost. We're just trying to build the database. So, yeah.
How is it different from Gust?
Gust, once again, it's more. Sorry, no, Gust is not so much syndication, although that's a part of it. A lot of the people seeking funding on Gust, they wind up splitting to a whole bunch of different investors. Although I think they do have a facility to do just a one-to-one investment. But Gust is more of an entire ecosystem. My understanding of Gust actually is that it started out as something very similar to this in the States, but it's changed into an entire process management. So they arrange your funding rounds. They actually prepare you the whole shebang, and they basically sell all their added services on top of that. We've made a very conscious decision to not do any of that and just retain the simplicity of trying to appeal to an investor with the mindset that I have, which is just all I want is something that lets me go online and find what I'm looking for and talk to that person. And yeah, Gust basically, to put it simply, Gust offers a whole suite of stuff that they try to offer on top of that, and they really don't like the idea of just facilitating a meeting between two people. So we're just trying to keep it simple.
You've been going 6 weeks.
Yes.
How many investors would you have online at the moment?
We have, I think, 12 investors, but you've got to bear in mind that these are all people who are kind of worth, $15, $20 million. So yeah, we're going for a ratio of about 1 to 10 because the investors that we're after are typically very high net worth people. So in other words, I think we've only got 25 to 30 companies listed at the moment. But so, we've got a pretty good ratio going on at the moment, but if the funding seeker pile really starts exploding upwards, we'll cap it so that we can make sure that we've got enough investors there to fund it. But yeah, but I mean, that's a big part of what I'm doing right now, traveling around internationally as well, is all the investors we've got on board so far are just one-to-one kind of people from my network, people who know my network, people who've seen our ads, who've just signed up as themselves, but we're trying to get financial services firms involved so that we can have people who manage a portfolio of clients. So we've got a couple of potential deals in the works. Everyone, this is great. Yeah.
what do you get out of it? How do you get your
I
share?
get a 3% commission of the money that's invested.
Okay.
What do you think the benefit of one-to-one relationship as opposed to a syndicate relationship is?
It just caters to a different kind of investor. I mean, the reason that this came about in the first place was because I, as an investor, found myself a couple of years ago, working my day job. I had my property, I had my shares. I'd always thought, eventually I'm going to want to buy into a business. It's the next logical thing to do. I'd always just assumed, very naively, that when that time came, I'd be able to just hop online and find a tool that let me do it. I looked for that, discovered it didn't exist, went, that's ridiculous, someone should make that, and then went back to my job. And then, basically, I eventually decided when I was done with my job that I was like, okay, well, I'll have a go at making this work. So, I mean, it's been around for like 7 or 8 months now. We have to build it and do the legals and everything. It's only been live accepting subscriptions for 6 weeks. Is something hilarious going on behind me?
No, I'm
He's,
just going to have to
he's
leave.
doing a
I'm
runner.
going to go catch a plane. Yeah, I know, it is a bit of a disaster.
Okay.
Oh, thank you so much.
I'm slowly, my wallet's getting thinner and thinner.
Dylan, how's your relationship with the angel investor groups? There's a Geelong Angels Network and Melbourne Angels Network.
I mean, we've got a couple of people from the various city angel networks involved. The higher net worth people who are involved in Melbourne Angels, Brisbane Angels, Sydney Angels, there's no competition going on there. It's like a lot of those people, they will register on our swap and then they'll also use our platform. I mean, it's just more avenues for them if they're active. But yeah, I mean, I was expecting to encounter a bit of resistance from the angel groups, but mostly it's a cooperative thing. I mean, those people are investors, they're interested in any tool that
Another question.
want to take a slice of their money.
Established businesses?
Both. At the moment, the low-hanging fruit in terms of people who are looking for funding is ourselves.
Startups with market traction or conceptual firms?
Obviously the more developed better,
Yes.
but because that will allow you to sell yourself better. But
Probably not seed level?
no, seed level's fine. I mean, it all comes down to the investor, right? I mean, some investors will are fine if they're convinced that you know what you're talking about and your ideas are good, and they like your deal, they'll give you money. But then there's other investors who are very risk averse like me, who will be like, no, I want to see you operating for 3 years first. So we take all comers as long as whatever you're selling, you can essentially sell it well.
Yeah, this is not a question, but something that was announced in the budget a few weeks ago was that it's called Significant Visa Program. Government has announced.
1.5 billion investment in Australia now is what you need in a company with a market cap of something.
No. This is to encourage high wealth individuals from overseas to come and settle down in Australia. So they have to bring a minimum of $5 million, and they need to invest 10% of that, which is $500,000, into a managed fund that would go to startups specifically. So I think
That's not new, it's been there for a while.
it was announced in the budget, wasn't it? It has been there, but this startup part was not there.
Does anyone know what I'm talking about with the 1.5 million? I remember recalling they're now, particularly with the Chinese investors, because of that, they've said.
This is designed to attract Chinese investors as well.
If you want to get citizenship, they've basically said you need to invest $1.5 million in existing concerns. That there's a certain market cap they have to be under.
But the startup part is new, I think.
I didn't know that specific.
So now they brought the startups in, so which is good. I thought you should know, and maybe that's something you could. It's a very.
I think we just picked a very good time to launch this. The interest has been really good. Been pretty heartening. I was expecting to just give it a go for 3 months and go, go back to my job. But no, there's been, people, financial services companies and stuff coming out with your work and just saying, can we work together? So
it's all happened. That's why we are here as well. So anyone else want to pitch any? Okay, thanks, Dylan. I think you too. And thanks, and don't forget, thank you. And you can avail yourself of the bar.